Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lance and I make content about crypto and blockchain gaming and play to earn. And today I'm going to talk to you about my favorite opportunity right now to farm a network token on the Ronin network. It's my favorite opportunity in crypto currently, and it's only going to exist for maybe another 70 days or so. So depending on when you're watching this, you'll definitely want to get in as quickly as you can. So let's jump in and tell you why I'm so excited about this and why I think it's such a unique opportunity. So we're going to jump first to looking at the kind of medium or press release, the blog post that kind of released this thing. It happened while I was in New York, NFT NYC, and there was so much energy around this launch. It was really fun to be there. You can watch this cute video here of the axes and the whole thing. Uh, but really, let's start with what is a DEX. A DEX is a decentralized exchange. So things like Coinbase or Binance, those are centralized exchanges. And then there are decentralized exchanges, and that's what you would use with a private wallet like MetaMask to exchange essentially with other crypto holders. So crypto holders go in to the DEX and they stake their coins to provide liquidity for the decentralized exchange. And then those people that want to swap tokens go in and they swap tokens and they pay a little fee to the platform. And then that fee is given to the liquidity providers. So we'll dig into how the liquidity is provided and kind of how it's used, but that's the overview. Some people are staking their coins and providing liquidity in a pair. So if it's like Ethereum paired with aXS, for example, which is one of the pairs on Katana, then you can go in and you can swap Ethereum for aXS, or you can swap aXS for Ethereum, and the liquidity providers take a little bit of a fee for providing that service for you so that you don't have to leave your private wallet, go off the Ethereum chain, and exchange on a centralized exchange. So that's kind of an overview of what a decentralized exchange is. So Katana is the Ronin chain decentralized exchange, and we've been long awaiting this because it took 50+ dollars per Ethereum transaction to leave the Ronin chain. So you'd have to cross the Ronin bridge and then go to a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, pay another $50 to $100 to swap, because you're paying the gas fees on Ethereum in addition to the liquidity provider fees. And then you would pay another $50 to $75 typically to go back to the Ronin chain. And that's just to swap a token to use it within the Ronin chain. So as scholars are earning SLP, and then you want to swap that SLP for aXS to go stake the aXS, for example, or even swap it for aXS to breed because you need both aXS and SLP to breed, or you want to swap it for Ethereum to buy axes. All of those transactions had to happen off the Ronin chain. You had to leave the Ronin chain, swap on a DEX, and then come back to the Ronin chain. It was a minimum $150 round trip to do that. So you'd have to wait usually for coins to build up to make it worth leaving the chain and coming back on, and doing it in larger transactions. So now you can go swap on Katana, stay on the Ronin chain, swap on Katana. I'll show you the Katana interface real quick. So you can go swap on Katana. Here you can see the pairs. So if you want to swap from ETH to aXS, like I was saying, or the other way around from aXS to ETH, you just connect your Ronin wallet, which I'm not going to do here. I don't have it loaded on this computer, but you're going to load it in. You put in whatever you want to swap. It shows you the numbers, and then you just confirm the swap in Ronin. And you're paying a very small fee compared to the $150 to $300 you would pay round trip to go off the chain, swap on Uniswap, and come back. So this is huge for the community. It's gonna make it so assets can move a lot faster. They can be deployed. The market can just move a lot more quickly, and we're giving less of it away to to Uniswap and to the Ethereum chain in gas fees. So the Axie community gets to keep more of the resources that we're building here. So let's go back to this. So in the launch, you can see AXS, SLP, USDC, and wrapped Ethereum are the coins that are available. And those are really all the coins you would want to use in the ecosystem anyway. I don't even use USDC. I just use the other three. And maybe there will come a point where I care to use USDC, but it's amazing. These are the only coins that you really need to run in the ecosystem, and I'm sure over time this is going to become just like any other decentralized exchange where you can swap for all kinds of different tokens, just like on Uniswap. And so a lot of the liquidity and the resources will stay on the Ronin chain. So why Katana? I kind of just talked about that, but make using our products like Axie easier and less expensive. You notice they say products here and they say like Axie because this isn't going to be the only game that ever runs on the Ronin chain or that Sky Mavis produces. So that's a look into the future there. Imagine a platform like Steam, for example, that has lots of games that can be played on a platform like Mavis Hub that Axie Infinity runs on, and they're all tied in with the Ronin chain. These might be ones that Sky Mavis develops, or it might be third-party developers. So reduce our reliance on other parties by becoming the largest exchange for our ecosystem's tokens. Pretty sure that already happened after the launch of this. So increase liquidity for assets in our ecosystem. This will make it easier to exchange the tokens you earn while playing. We talked about that. So what are they doing? This is really what I want to highlight. So the RON token. So they introduced the RON token with the release of the Katana DEX. And so the RON token is brand new and you can't buy it anywhere. So you can't go on a centralized exchange and buy it. You can't swap for it on Katana. You can't get it anywhere. And RON is to Ronin like ETH is to the Ethereum chain. So just like every transaction in the future that happens on the Ronin chain will require RON as gas fees, and they will use it to secure the chain. So today we're unveiling RON. RON is the ecosystem token for the Ronin chain. It will eventually be used to pay gas fees and secure the network for both Axie Infinity and future games and products hosted on the chain. So there it is again, future games and products, right? This isn't going to be the only one on the Ronin chain. RON's primary purpose is to ensure that Ronin will always be a blockchain owned by our community. I think that's also a key statement right there. So, and that will become more apparent as I tell you what's going to happen with the RON token over these first 90 days, 70-ish of which are currently left. So, I'm just going to read this part. To incentivize Katana liquidity, 10% of the total RON supply will be rewarded to liquidity providers who stake their deposits in both SLP ETH and AXS ETH. So those are the trading pairs that I was just telling you about. So you can stake liquidity for the SLP ETH trading pair or the AXS ETH trading pair. The rewards for these pools will be activated later this week. We anticipate that these rewards will create a whirlpool effect, sucking in AXS, SLP, ETH, and USDC to Katana. And that's exactly what happened. So they jumped to like $1 billion in liquidity in the first few days. So I think this launch was brilliant. These rewards are obviously already active and have been for a few weeks here. Please note that RON is not for sale. Do not get scammed. There's so many scams going around. And then, it talks about how right now everybody gets 100 free transactions, but going forward that will shift to paying a gas fee system. And it needs to be that way to have it be a sustainable thing. And to properly motivate, drive a market that is market motivated. So different factors need to be in play for the market to decide which transactions should be, front run and all of those kinds of things. So you'll be able to, likely like you can on other chains, give priority to certain transactions if you need something to happen quickly. And then, there are just more resources there to run the chain and make it stable. Right now, it's gotten better in the last few days, but for a couple weeks there, the Ronin chain was dropping like half or more of my transactions, or I would get on and I couldn't even log in and I couldn't do any transactions, and it was super frustrating. So maybe that's just them conditioning us to want Ronin gas fees, but if that's the case, then it's working, because I'm all for this. So here's the rest of the punchline here. 10% of the RON supply will be rewarded to liquidity providers in these pools over the next 90 days. So you're going to have half of that reward going to the aXS ETH pool and half of that reward going to the SLP ETH pool. So you can stake your tokens immediately, and then the RON is issued in wrapped RON tokens, as the staking contracts only accept ERC20 tokens. So the wrapped RON rewards for LP stakers will be claimable at a later date. This will also coincide with the launch of the RON ETH pool for swapping RON tokens. There are going to be 1 billion RON tokens, and the supply after 90 days of RON farming will be 100 million. So 10% of the supply will be available after 90 days, and that's it. So 100% of the circulating supply will be owned by people who are farming RON in these pools. So I think that's a big deal. I think a lot of people missed that when they first came to kind of read through this stuff. Only 10% of the supply is being released. I get that. And you kind of wonder, well, what's going to happen with the other 90%? How is that going to be released? We don't know. But they did say that after 90 days, the supply will be 100 million, which means 100% of the supply after 90 days will be owned by people who are farming the token. So at least immediately, they're not going to have some other airdrop or release where they're selling tokens or whatever else. Maybe they won't ever release the rest of that supply. Maybe they're just holding it in case they decide they need more supply for a long time in the future. So this plays into how you're going to value the RON token, because what's it worth if you're going to go farm it? And we'll get into that in a minute here. So liquidity providers receive 0.25% of each trade that taps into the pool. 0.05% of each swap is sent to the Ronin treasury. For now, only whitelisted pools can be created. So this is, really low fees to swap on the chain. And I don't know if that's going to have to change, because once there's no RON going to the liquidity providers, this amount doesn't seem high enough to me to be worth providing liquidity to the chain or to the DEX. So that's kind of the overview. I just wanted to revisit the staking dashboard. Staking rewards for aXS are still over 100%. And I don't see them going below that before the end of 2021. Maybe it will in the future. The circulating supply has gone up about 5 or 6 million since they launched the staking rewards. I think just because they're being paid out over time. I don't know why that circulating supply has changed more than the number of tokens that have been paid out. But maybe there's something that I don't understand about the release of aXS. I love that they have this here. So, you've got roughly a third of the total supply that's staked, and I don't know that it's going to go much higher than that. It might. I was surprised that it didn't drop more than it did once they released the Katana DEX and the opportunity to farm RON. But I think this is going to stay probably pretty stable, 100 to 130% APR, at least for the next couple of months. So next up, the Katana interface. So we already looked at this piece. If you want to provide liquidity, you need to have both tokens in the pair. So you need aXS and ETH, or SLP and ETH. So you need to have those in your Ronin wallet, and then you come to the pool here and you just connect your Ronin wallet and it'll show provide liquidity. So you click provide liquidity. You have to confirm that they can use your tokens first, and then you provide the liquidity, confirm that transaction, make sure that it goes through. It's probably dropped on me like half the time I've tried to do it. So make sure it goes through. If it doesn't go through and it just keeps spinning, then click disconnect or clear, clear all, I think is what it says. And then you can connect your Rona wallet again and try it again. Don't sit there for 20 minutes hoping it will happen. If it doesn't happen in the first minute or two, it's not going to happen. So once you have that, it will show at the bottom here a little box that shows your LP tokens. And if you just leave it there, you're going to earn your 0.25%, which isn't worth doing. So then you need to come over to the farm, and depending on which one you put in, you're going to click on this, you're going to connect your Ronin wallet, and then it'll show stake, and you're going to stake your LP tokens, which is another transaction. Again, make sure it goes through, don't wait, same things I said about the other one. So this is an important thing. If you want to see the information about the chain, you're going to make a lot more RON if you put your money into the SLP ETH daily reward thing, because there's a lot less liquidity provided in this pool than there is in this pool, and the rewards are the exact same. So if you provide the same amount of money to the SLP ETH pool, you're going to be a higher percentage of the pool and you're going to earn a bigger percentage of these rewards. So why is that? Well, there's something called impermanent loss. And this video isn't going to be about impermanent loss, but as a high level concept, when you provide liquidity to the pool, people are swapping out tokens. So if the value of one token increases significantly in comparison to the other token, then the number of those tokens available in the pool is going to go down because people are swapping for the other token. And so you're missing out on the rise in the one token as people swap for it. If it levels back out, then you're kind of back to where you started. So that's why it's called impermanent loss. That's just a very brief overview. If you want in depth, go look up a YouTube video on impermanent loss. But there's a higher risk in most people's opinion of impermanent loss in the SLP ETH pool. Because SLP is designed as a commodity token, it's not really an equity growth token. XS and ETH are both more like equity growth tokens. AXS is a governance token for Axie Infinity. ETH is ETH. It runs the whole chain. There's a lot of equity value there. SLP is meant to kind of stay stable-ish within a range, and it might shoot up for a short period of time, but it's not intended to be something you buy and hold for a long time, hoping that it will go to $5 or something like that. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to be minted and then burned to generate new Axies. So I've opted to put my money into the SLP ETH pool because it's going to farm me a lot more RON. I don't necessarily see some huge moves. One token doing huge moves and the other not. But if that happens, I'm willing to take that risk because I think farming the extra RON is worth it. If you don't agree with that, put your money in the AXS ETH pool. So Katana info, this is how much liquidity is available right now. So there's $1.27 billion in liquidity. That's gone up and down a little bit, capped out around 1.4, which is incredible. I mean, this thing's only been around for 3 weeks and it sucked in $1 billion of liquidity. So launch November 2nd, and it sucked in over $1 billion of liquidity within 4 days. That's incredible. It shows you just how big and powerful this community is, and what we're doing here, and why I'm so excited about farming the RON token. It would be like farming ETH when the ETH chain launched before anybody could even buy it. So just imagine doing that. I mean, I don't know if the Ronin chain will become as big as the Ethereum chain. Probably not, but it could. and it certainly could become as big as some of the other chains that are there. So I mean, you look at, here's coin market cap. You've got Ethereum, Binance, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche. A lot of these big top coins are network coins, and that's what we're talking about here with Ronin. And it's not even on this list, and 99% of people in crypto probably don't even know that the Ron token exists or that it will exist. So by the time it hits coin market cap, you will have already farmed a significant portion of the circulating supply of Ronin. So that's why I'm so excited about this opportunity. So you can see here the pool sizes, of just how much ETH. Really, you want to look at the pairs. So there's 770 million of AXS ETH, 500 million roughly of SLP ETH. So you can see there the differential of how you're going to earn a lot more in the SLP ETH pool. And those have really remained fairly stable over the last little while. You can see things have gone up a little bit and down a little bit, but so that's that. When you farm, after you put your LP tokens in here and stake, it will show you how much Ronin you've earned every day, but you can't claim it. Like they said, they'll offer that in the future. So the last major thing I want to talk to you about, I guess we already had that open, but this accounts piece I think is really interesting. So you can load your Ronin address into here and load the account details, and it will show you how much liquidity you have in the pool. It'll show you all the transactions that you've done on your Ronin wallet. And when I first started using this, I didn't know this existed. And so I just kind of like put my liquidity in there, and then I didn't know from day to day or week to week how it was doing, if it, how it was doing compared to the market. So if you're really into recording what kind of returns you've received, then you're going to want to log what you are putting in, the number of tokens for each coin that you're putting in, and then you can see the value of the liquidity you've provided by coming in here into your account details. So that's that. I don't want to make this video too long, but hopefully you can see the excitement and energy that I have around the Ron token. As far as the value of the token, that's up to you. Maybe we should look at these prices again here on coin market cap. But if you look at something like Binance coin that's at $100 billion, could Ron get to be that big? I don't know. I think it could in the next 3 to 5 years. Could it start out to be the size of some of these smaller ones here? I mean, some people are comparing it to like Uniswap, and they're taking that as the the benchmark for where it could start out. And I could see that it's not really going to be as valuable as Uniswap right off the bat from just Katana is not going to be as valuable as Uniswap because you can't exchange for as many coins, and it's not as accessible for a lot of people. But there are going to be a ton of users, and there are already a ton of users on the Ronin chain, and it's not just a decentralized exchange. So I actually don't think that Uniswap is the right comparison. I think something more like Avalanche or Solana is the right comparison. It's a chain. Sure, it's dedicated to gaming, so it's a little bit different, but gaming is a huge space, and I think it could become the chain for gaming. There are games being built on Solana or Matic, Polygon chain right now, but I think Ronin could be huge. I mean, it's got so many users already, so many people in the ecosystem. It's a convenience thing for all those users to just stay on the chain and swap tokens there, try out more games with softwares they already have loaded on their computer. So where could the Ron token go? Again, there are 1 billion coins that could exist. We don't know how those are going to be distributed. Only 10% are going to happen right away. So 100 million coins right now. Could there be a $10 billion market cap right out of the gate? Or, certainly $1 billion market cap seems reasonable to me right out of the gate. So you're gonna see, I think, somewhere above a $10 RON token price within the first few months of this thing going live. And it could be much higher than that. And as it gains momentum, it could start jockeying for the a top 50 crypto coin spot. So that's why I'm excited about it. So go provide some liquidity, stake your LP tokens, and farm some RON. And I'll see you in the next video.